Hi, my name is Chris Tubbs, and today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about career exploration. So this is kind of weird. I'm recording myself on a Google Hangouts, but hopefully the audio and video comes through and you find this a good use of your time. So, you could be anywhere in the world right now. You could be in your bedroom, your living room, your bathroom, really only those three places, but you're here with me, which I appreciate. So thank you. So let's start with some questions. So my job, I am an enterprise account executive with Dropbox. That's a fancy way of saying I work in sales. I help people solve business problems with technology. And a typical day in the life for me looks like calls with customers. This could be a sales call. This could be customer service. Any concerns or needs that they have for my clients, I will discuss that with them. These could also be cold calls. So these could be folks that may have some interest in our service or may not, and I just think that they would be an ideal candidate. And so I'll call them out of the blue. I don't like to think of myself as a telemarketer, but sometimes that's sort of what I'm doing. And so that leads to a lot of interesting interactions. I also spend some time creating proposals or quotes for customers, negotiating and sending contracts, or forecasting and keeping things up to date with my management team, keeping them in the loop with the things that I'm doing. So another question was, what particular industry is your job a part of, and how does it fit into the bigger picture? So I work in the software industry. People use software to be more productive, to get more done, or simply for entertainment. So some of the tools that you might use for productivity would be Gmail or Slack, even at school for projects that you're working on with your classmates. When you go off into the work world, your company will probably give you some of these tools to be more effective. Dropbox is one of those tools that people use for collaboration or file sharing. And so that's really the products that I support and I use on a daily basis. What do I love about my job and what is tough? So what I love about it is solving customer challenges. So helping them see through a better outcome. One example of that would be I worked with a school district to use technology to reduce childhood bullying, basically to allow the administrators to know if these things were to take place and to help them take proactive steps. And so that's very gratifying. The hardest part of the job is dealing with difficult people. I think that's universal. It's not just for sales, but any type of career that you do. In sales, though, you tend to deal with a high volume of people. And some people see sales as manipulative. They think of us like used car sales. There's much more to it than that. I don't think of myself as that way, but some people have that notion. So the next question is, what was your path to getting your job? Were there any hurdles or surprises along the way? And what were the passions when you were young, and how did that translate into your past or current job? So getting a job fresh out of school isn't always easy. You have to go through potentially internships where you're getting paid little or not very much. You have to create a resume for yourself where you talk through all your skills and accomplishments. And if you're early in your career, that might not be very long. So that can be difficult, and also the networking piece. So my advice to that is just to basically like network with as many people as you can. Uh, Come up with a plan for yourself. There's a lot of good books out there for job searching. Read some of those, connect with your classmates, connect with alumni, and use the school's recruiting resources as much as you possibly can. Talk with career counselors at your school if that's provided. Um, in terms of passions when I was young, this is kind of weird, but I liked to write a lot when I was young. I would sometimes create like stories for my parents with a lot of pictures and all kinds of crazy storylines. And that ended up being very useful because a lot of business and sales in particular is about telling stories. And business writing is super important. You're going to end up writing a lot of reports, a lot of emails potentially, uh, and that's just good skills to have. So creative writing and business writing are good things to practice. Some other questions. What are the things that you learned in your K through 12 education that are most helpful to you now? The big one for me would be obviously making friends. You're going to continue to make friends, and the relationships that you have are going to be invaluable. Studying, of course, having good studying habits, having a constant focus on learning new things, working on team projects, that's very important. Being able to work collaboratively with your classmates, not waiting till the last minute, not procrastinating, not putting all the work on one person, but spreading that out evenly so everyone's happy. If you were to have another question, if you were to have a higher education, I do have a higher education, what was your experience like? And what was difficult to get used to? What did I find most surprising? I was actually a pretty bad student in high school. And so I didn't have good grades. I didn't get brought into like a really nice university. I went to community college for a couple years. And the good thing about community college was I was able to get my general education credits and at a very low cost compared to a four-year university. So that actually saved me money, which is good because I had no money. And I would advise you, no matter what route you go, to apply for student aid. There's this program called FAFSA. Hopefully they haven't changed the name, but that's assistance. That helped pay for some of my school. But then, I also worked my way through school, which makes it more difficult. You can't necessarily live on campus and live in a dorm and work full time, but so I did a bit of night school, but it built a lot of discipline. I learned a lot. And when I got out of college, I had a lot of skills that were directly applicable to the work world. So it was actually helpful. So there's no excuses, no matter what family situation you deal with, lack of finances, you can still go to college. And lastly, any tips for being a good worker? And what is my favorite part of being on a team? And how do I make goals for myself? So as far as being a good worker, I'd recommend getting to know your coworkers individually on a personal level. The more you get to know them, the more satisfaction you'll have working with them. The more personal bond you'll have, the more happy you'll be at work. It'll help you get a lot more done. And then generally in life, put people in relationships over everything else. I'd say one of my favorite parts of working as a team is getting to know them individually, getting to know their quirks. Everyone kind of has like funny aspects of their personality. Succeeding together is very gratifying as well. In terms of goal setting, I think it's a super important skill that everyone should learn. You're never too early to get in the habit of setting your goals. I set my goals regularly, and I check on them on a weekly or monthly basis. There's a system called SMART, which is like helps you set goals in an effective way in terms of them being kind of accurate. But one of the tactics I use is just asking myself, like, what's the one most important thing that I would need to do to move forward in any aspect of my life, whether that's studying, a school, career, fitness and health, relationships. So ask yourself, what's that one thing that's most important? And then think about a daily process that you can wrap around that. So what are the things you can do every single day that will get you one step closer to achieving that goal? I found that people succeed because of the habits that they set and that they follow, not as much because of their talents or their skills. So think about that. I hope that's helpful, and I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. Have a great day.